Chosen ones, the universe whispers constantly, offering guidance that aligns with your divine destiny. Yet, in the rush of life, many miss these sacred signs. Ignoring them risks straying from the path laid out by God and the higher realms. You are not here by accident. Your purpose is crucial, your destiny irreplaceable. The time to pay attention is now, because the signs you overlook could be the key to unlocking the future you've been called to fulfill. The world around you is never silent. The divine constantly speaks, weaving synchronicities into your life as a guide to your destined path. These are not mere coincidences. They are the fingerprints of God and the universe orchestrating your journey. Do you notice the moments when you're thinking of someone and they call you? Or when you see repeated numbers like 1111 or 444? These occurrences are sacred winks from the universe, nudging you to pay attention. As Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, once said, "Synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see." Yet, many dismiss these moments, blind to the spiritual roadmaps they offer. Let's ground this in Scripture. For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth come knowledge and understanding. Proverbs 2:6. Synchronicities are one of the ways God imparts wisdom. They are custom designed for you, unique messages tailored to your spiritual growth. Ignoring them is akin to silencing divine counsel. To recognize these synchronicities, you must become still and present. In today's fast-paced world, where distractions abound, the subtle voice of the divine can be drowned out. Meditation, prayer, and journaling are tools that fine-tune your spiritual radar. Through these practices, you'll learn to decipher the meaning behind recurring patterns and events in your life. For example, imagine you've been contemplating a career change, and suddenly you meet people who share insights about the exact field you're considering. Or you keep encountering symbols of freedom like birds or open skies during moments of doubt. These are not random. They are the divine's way of confirming your inner promptings. However, recognizing synchronicities also requires trust. The ego, driven by logic and doubt, will often attempt to dismiss these signs. That's just a coincidence, it says, but your spirit knows better. As the philosopher Rumi taught, when the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. Trusting synchronicities means leaning into the language of the soul, which often defies rational explanation. To deepen your awareness, keep a synchronicity journal. Write down the odd moments that seem too aligned to be random. Over time, patterns will emerge, revealing a divine dialogue tailored just for you. Pay attention to the emotions these moments stir in you. Joy, peace, or an unshakable knowing often accompany true synchronicities. But here's the urgency, chosen ones. Overlooking these divine alignments risks missing your destiny. The road to your purpose is paved with clues, and synchronicities are the mile markers. If you ignore them, you risk veering off course, wandering into unnecessary hardship or delay. Reflect on the story of Jonah in the Bible. Jonah was given a divine mission, yet he resisted and fled. Even as he tried to escape, God orchestrated events, a storm, a great fish, to realign him with his purpose. This is a profound lesson for us. Ignoring the signs doesn't erase the calling. It merely prolongs the journey and amplifies the challenges. So, chosen ones, I ask you, are you willing to see, to embrace the synchronicities that beckon you toward your highest path? The time is now. Begin today by tuning in. Open your heart, quiet your mind, and trust the divine to lead you through these sacred breadcrumbs. The next chapter will delve deeper into those moments when your intuition screams, but you hesitate. What happens when you ignore that inner voice? Stay with me. This journey is just beginning. Intuition is the quiet, persistent whisper of your soul, a direct line to divine wisdom. It speaks in moments of clarity, urging you toward or away from decisions, people, and paths. Ignoring it is like turning your back on a lighthouse in a storm. Have you ever felt an unshakable pull to do something, yet rationalized your way out of it? Perhaps you were guided to walk away from a toxic relationship, but fear kept you entangled. Or maybe an opportunity felt divinely aligned, but self-doubt whispered louder. These moments are not accidental. Intuition is God's way of steering you, protecting you, and aligning you with your purpose. Consider the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson. Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. Your intuition is that iron string, resonating with divine truth. When you ignore it, you disrupt the harmony of your soul's journey. In the Bible, we see this principle in the story of Peter. When Jesus called him to walk on water, Peter's initial faith allowed him to step out. But the moment doubt crept in, he began to sink. This illustrates the power and fragility of intuition. When you trust it, miracles unfold. When you doubt, you flounder. Ignoring intuition often leads to regret. Think back to a time when you said, "I knew I should have." That knowing was your inner compass. The more you dismiss it, the more muted it becomes. Eventually, you risk silencing it altogether, leaving you adrift in a sea of uncertainty. But here's the good news. Your intuition is never truly lost. Like a seed, it lies dormant, waiting for you to nurture it back to life. Begin by creating space for stillness. Intuition thrives in silence, not in the chaos of overthinking. Meditate, pray, or simply sit in nature. Let the chatter of the world fade and listen for the gentle nudges within. Another key to sharpening intuition is to act on it. Start small. If you feel guided to take a different route home, do it. If your heart tells you to reach out to someone, don't hesitate. Each time you honor your intuition, you strengthen its voice and your ability to discern it. The urgency here, chosen ones, cannot be overstated. Ignoring intuition is ignoring divine guidance. It's rejecting the map that leads you to your destiny. Remember, God's plan for you is not something you can achieve through logic alone. Faith and trust are essential. As Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." So, I ask you, will you lean into your inner knowing? Will you trust that still, small voice that beckons you to your highest calling? In the next chapter, we'll explore how the universe's quiet nudges guide you even when you're not paying attention. Stay tuned, chosen ones. The journey continues. The universe rarely shouts, it nudges. These nudges are subtle yet profound, a quiet reminder that you are not alone on your journey. These signs might appear as an unexpected detour, a stranger's kind word, or even a sudden obstacle that redirects you. They are the universe's way of steering you back on course, gently but insistently. Have you ever wondered why certain events seem to align perfectly, even when they don't make logical sense? For example, perhaps you missed a train only to meet someone waiting at the next one who profoundly impacted your life. Or maybe you felt an inexplicable urge to take a different route, only to avoid an unseen danger. These nudges are not random. They are the divine's way of guiding you toward your highest good. In ancient texts, we find countless examples of such guidance. The Bhagavad Gita speaks of selfless action and trusting the flow of life. In Christianity, we see this in the story of Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his brothers, but later realized that every twist in his journey was part of God's plan to save a nation. The Bible reminds us in Romans 8:28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." These quiet nudges are evidence of this divine orchestration, urging you to trust the process even when the path seems unclear. However, recognizing these nudges requires sensitivity and awareness. Too often, we dismiss them as mere coincidence or inconvenience. We rush through life, blind to the signs around us. But chosen ones, the universe's whispers are deliberate. They are invitations to slow down, reflect, and recalibrate. One powerful way to tune into these nudges is to cultivate gratitude. Gratitude shifts your perspective, helping you see challenges as opportunities and detours as blessings. When you approach life with a grateful heart, you become more attuned to the subtle ways the universe communicates. For instance, imagine facing a financial setback. Instead of succumbing to despair, you choose gratitude for the lessons it offers. In that state, you might notice opportunities you previously overlooked, a new skill to learn, a connection to nurture, or an idea to pursue. The setback becomes a setup for growth. But here's the challenge: quiet nudges often demand action. They require you to trust in what you cannot yet see. This is where faith comes in. Faith is not blind optimism. It is the assurance that the divine has your back, even when the path ahead is shrouded in uncertainty. As the Persian poet Hafiz wrote, "Fear is the cheapest room in the house. I would like to see you living in better conditions." Trusting the nudges of the universe means stepping out of fear and into faith. Chosen ones, the urgency here is clear. Every nudge you ignore is a missed opportunity to align with your destiny. The universe is patient, but your time is finite. Each day spent dismissing these signs is a day lost to doubt and stagnation. So I ask you, are you willing to listen? To slow down, reflect, and embrace the quiet nudges that guide you? The time to act is now. Trust that every detour, every delay, and every nudge is part of a divine plan, leading you closer to your purpose. In the next chapter, we'll explore the realm of dreams and how they serve as messages from the higher realms. Your journey into understanding the signs continues. Chosen ones, the dream world is a sacred space where the veil between the physical and spiritual realms grows thin. In dreams, the divine speaks to us in symbols, metaphors, and visions, offering profound insights and guidance. Yet, how often do we wake up, dismissing them as mere figments of imagination? Dreams are not random. Throughout history, they have been revered as divine messages. In the Bible, God communicated with Joseph through dreams, warning him to flee to Egypt to protect the infant Jesus, Matthew 2:13. In ancient cultures, dreams were seen as sacred doorways to higher truths. Whether in the visions of the prophets or the writings of Carl Jung, the power of dreams to reveal the subconscious and connect us to the divine is undeniable. But dreams require interpretation. They are like sacred puzzles meant to be pieced together with intuition and spiritual awareness. Have you ever dreamt of losing your way, being chased, or soaring through the skies? These are not random, they carry deeper meanings. A dream of being lost might reflect spiritual confusion or a need for clarity, while the sensation of flying could signify freedom or alignment with your higher purpose. To harness the wisdom of your dreams, start by creating a dream journal. The moment you wake, record everything you remember, no matter how fragmented. Patterns will emerge over time, revealing recurring themes and messages. Notice the feelings your dreams evoke. Emotions are the key to unlocking their meanings. The urgency here, chosen ones, is not to overlook this sacred tool. Ignoring your dreams is like tearing pages out of a divine manuscript written just for you. Dreams can forewarn, guide, and comfort. They are a direct connection to the higher realms, helping you align with your destiny. The next chapter will delve into the resistance we face and how it holds us back from our calling. Stay tuned, your spiritual awakening continues. Chosen ones, resistance is an invisible force that often feels like a wall between you and your divine purpose. It shows up as procrastination, fear, self-doubt, or even external obstacles. But let me tell you this, resistance is not here to stop you, it's here to test your resolve. Have you ever felt inspired to start a project, embark on a spiritual journey, or step into a new role, only to be met with overwhelming doubt? That's resistance. It whispers lies, saying you're not ready, not capable, or not worthy. But remember, the stronger the resistance, the closer you are to something transformative. As Stephen Pressfield wrote in The War of Art, resistance will tell you anything to keep you from doing your work. It will perjure, it will falsify, it will seduce you with promises. It will show you fear where there is none. Resistance will stop at nothing to keep you from doing your work. The Bible also acknowledges this battle. In Ephesians 6:12, it says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." Resistance often stems from these spiritual forces, aiming to derail you from fulfilling God's purpose for your life. To overcome resistance, you must first recognize it for what it is. Awareness is the first step to dismantling its power. When resistance arises, pause and ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What am I avoiding? Often, resistance highlights the very path you're meant to take. If it scares you, it's likely significant to your growth. Next, take action, even if it's small. Resistance thrives in stagnation, but it weakens with movement. If you're afraid to start a project, commit to just 5 minutes of work. If fear holds you back from speaking your truth, say it aloud to yourself first. Each step forward, no matter how small, chips away at the wall of resistance. Another key is to anchor yourself in faith. Resistance feeds on doubt, but faith starves it. Trust that God has equipped you with everything you need to succeed. As Philippians 4:13 reminds us, "I can do all things through Christ, who strengthens me." Lean on this truth when resistance feels insurmountable. Chosen ones, resistance is not a sign to stop. It's a signal to push forward. The weight of resistance can feel heavy, but it's also a reminder of the greatness that lies on the other side. The more resistance you face, the more profound your breakthrough will be. Emotions are sacred messengers from your soul. They often emerge as waves of turbulence, not to punish or overwhelm, but to guide you towards spiritual alignment. Every surge of anger, sadness, joy, or anxiety carries a message, a whisper from your higher self urging you to pay attention. When you feel emotional turmoil, it is not random. It is the divine shaking your inner world to reveal areas where healing, growth, or change is necessary. Consider the words of Psalm 34:18. "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Even in your deepest despair, there is divine purpose and guidance. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever been caught in a storm of emotions that seemed disproportionate to the situation at hand? Perhaps a small setback left you deeply frustrated, or an act of kindness brought you to tears. These moments are not arbitrary. They are calls to look inward, to explore what is being stirred within you. To navigate emotional turbulence, start by embracing awareness. When strong emotions arise, pause and ask yourself, What is this feeling trying to show me? Anger, for instance, might signal that a boundary has been crossed or that an old wound has resurfaced. Sadness might reveal the need to release something that no longer serves you, while anxiety could highlight an area where trust in the divine is lacking. Journaling is a powerful tool for this inner exploration. Write freely about what you feel without judgment. Let your pen uncover the layers of your emotions, revealing the truth beneath the surface. Prayer and meditation can also help. Bring your emotions before God and ask for clarity. Trust that the divine hears your cries and is guiding you through every wave. But here's the urgency, chosen ones. Ignoring emotional turbulence allows it to fester. Unaddressed emotions can create spiritual blockages, hindering your growth and delaying your alignment with destiny. Like water trapped behind a dam, suppressed feelings eventually burst forth, often with greater intensity. Healing begins with surrender. As the great philosopher Rumi wrote, "Don't grieve. Anything you lose comes round in another form." Let your emotions flow without resistance, trusting that every release creates space for renewal. With each tear shed, with each wave of anger or joy, you move closer to your true self. Finally, surround yourself with support. Whether it's a trusted friend, a spiritual mentor, or your faith community, share your journey. Vulnerability invites connection, and connection reminds you that you are never alone in your struggles. Chosen ones, emotional turbulence is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Will you listen to its lessons? Will you allow it to refine and align you with your divine purpose? The next chapter will explore the repeating patterns that often trap us, revealing how to break free and step boldly into your destiny. Stay tuned. Greater clarity awaits. Chosen ones, have you noticed certain situations or challenges repeating in your life, no matter how much you try to avoid them? These patterns are not random. They are divine lessons, returning again and again until they are acknowledged, understood, and healed. Ignoring them only prolongs your spiritual growth and delays the unfolding of your destiny. Repeating patterns often highlight unresolved wounds, karmic cycles, or spiritual lessons. For instance, finding yourself in similar toxic relationships or facing recurring financial struggles might feel like a curse. But in truth, these patterns are mirrors reflecting what needs transformation within. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, repeats what you resist until you break free. Scripture speaks to this cyclical nature in Ecclesiastes 1:9. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward liberation. The key lies in seeing them not as punishment, but as opportunities for spiritual mastery. To break free, you must first identify the root cause of the pattern. Ask yourself, what is this situation trying to teach me? For example, recurring feelings of unworthiness might stem from childhood wounds or societal conditioning. By bringing these shadows to light, you can begin the process of healing. Journaling, prayer, and introspection are invaluable tools for uncovering these truths. Next, commit to transformation. The ego thrives in comfort zones, even when those zones cause suffering. Breaking patterns requires courage, a willingness to step into the unknown and choose differently. If a pattern involves toxic relationships, for instance, it might mean setting boundaries, seeking therapy, or embracing solitude to rediscover your self-worth. Finally, trust in divine timing. Healing and transformation are not linear processes. Be patient with yourself and lean into faith. As Romans 12:2 reminds us, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Each step you take toward breaking a pattern is a step closer to aligning with your higher purpose. Chosen ones, the urgency here is clear. Repeating patterns are the universe's way of saying, it's time to grow. Ignoring them only ensures their return, often with greater intensity. Will you face these lessons with courage and faith? The choice is yours, and the time is now. In the next chapter, we'll explore the sacred importance of rest and why spiritual fatigue can derail your destiny. Stay with me. This journey is leading you to profound breakthroughs. The journey toward your divine purpose is not one of endless striving. Even the most devoted souls can experience spiritual fatigue when they neglect the sacred rhythm of rest. Rest is not a luxury. It is a divine command woven into the fabric of creation itself. It is a gift from God to recalibrate, rejuvenate, and realign. Consider the words of Exodus 28:10. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. This is more than a rule, it is a rhythm set by the Creator. Rest is not merely about physical stillness, but a spiritual act of trust. Trusting that the divine continues to work on your behalf, even when you pause. It is an acknowledgement that your worth is not tied to constant output or achievement. Spiritual fatigue manifests in many ways: a lack of inspiration, feelings of disconnection from God, or an overwhelming sense of burden. It can feel like carrying a weight that grows heavier with each step. Have you ever felt an inexplicable weariness, one that sleep could not remedy? This fatigue is not a sign of failure. It is a signal to realign with the divine rhythm of grace. It is God's way of whispering, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. When you ignore sacred rest, you risk more than exhaustion. You risk missing the quiet whispers of the divine, the gentle guidance that only comes in stillness. Remember Elijah's encounter with God in 1 Kings 19:11-12. After a period of despair and exhaustion, Elijah found God not in the wind, earthquake, or fire, but in a gentle whisper. Sacred rest creates the space where you can hear that whisper and discern your next steps. But why do we resist rest? For many, it stems from fear, the fear of falling behind, of being seen as lazy, or of losing control. Society often glorifies busyness, equating it with productivity and worth. Yet, the truth is that rest is where true productivity begins. Without it, you cannot pour into your purpose effectively. As Jesus himself modeled, there were times when even he retreated to quiet places to pray and renew his spirit, Luke 5:16. To reclaim rest, start by creating intentional pauses in your daily life. This might look like setting aside time for prayer, meditation, or simply being in nature. Even small moments of mindfulness, like taking a deep breath, observing the beauty around you, or expressing gratitude, can serve as powerful acts of rest. Disconnect from the noise of the world, turn off your devices, step away from your obligations, and enter a space of quiet communion with the divine. Journaling can also help you reflect on areas where you may be overextending yourself. Ask yourself, where am I striving instead of trusting? What responsibilities can I release to make room for rest? Often, our schedules are filled with things that are good but not essential. By prioritizing what truly matters and surrendering the rest to God, you create space for sacred rest. Another powerful practice is observing a personal Sabbath. This doesn't have to align with any specific day. What matters is the intention. Dedicate this time to reconnect with God, yourself, and your purpose. Let it be a time of worship, reflection, and restoration. Think of it as a spiritual reset button, a way to release the burdens of the week and enter a state of divine peace. Chosen ones, sacred rest is not idleness, it is alignment. It is an act of faith, a declaration that you trust God's timing and provision. When you rest, you declare that you are not the source of your own success. God is. As Isaiah 40:31 reminds us, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." The urgency here is undeniable. Ignoring spiritual fatigue doesn't just slow you down, it risks derailing your journey entirely. Burnout, disconnection, and stagnation are the natural consequences of neglecting rest. But when you embrace it, you find renewed energy, clarity of purpose, and a deeper connection to the divine. Sacred rest allows you to step back into your calling with power and conviction. So I ask you, will you heed the call to rest? Will you trust that by pausing, you are actually propelling yourself forward? Your destiny does not demand endless striving. It demands divine alignment. The next chapter will explore how opportunities often come disguised as obstacles, challenging you to see beyond the surface and trust the divine plan. Stay with me. The best is yet to come. Have you ever faced a challenge so overwhelming that it felt like a dead end? Perhaps you thought, "This must mean I'm on the wrong path." But what if I told you that obstacles are often divine opportunities in disguise? These challenges are not meant to defeat you, but to strengthen you, redirect you, or prepare you for something greater. Think of Joseph in the Bible. Sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused and imprisoned, Joseph's life appeared to be a series of insurmountable obstacles. Yet each trial was a stepping stone toward his destiny. In Genesis 50:20, Joseph reflects, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." His story reminds us that what looks like a setback can actually be a setup for divine purpose. Obstacles often serve to reveal hidden strengths, refine your character, or realign you with your higher calling. Have you ever faced a rejection that forced you to seek a better path, or endured a season of loss that deepened your faith and resilience? These moments, painful as they are the universe's way of preparing you for the weight of your destiny. But here's the key. How you perceive and respond to obstacles determines whether they will become opportunities. When faced with a challenge, ask yourself, what lesson is hidden here? What skill, strength, or insight am I being called to develop? Shifting your perspective from, "Why is this happening to me?" to, "What is this teaching me?" can transform your experience. Consider the wisdom of the Tao Te Ching. What the caterpillar calls the end, the rest of the world calls a butterfly. What feels like the end of your journey may be the beginning of your transformation. Obstacles are often the crucibles where your greatest growth occurs. One powerful practice is to reframe challenges as spiritual training. Just as an athlete grows stronger through resistance, your soul grows through the trials you face. Each obstacle is a test of faith, patience, and perseverance. By leaning into these moments with trust and determination, you align with the divine plan, even when you cannot see the full picture. Prayer and meditation are essential tools in navigating obstacles. When you feel overwhelmed, bring your burdens before God. As Philippians 4:6-7 reminds us, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Surrendering your struggles in prayer invites divine guidance and peace into the chaos. Community support is another invaluable resource. Share your challenges with trusted friends, mentors, or spiritual guides. Their perspectives and encouragement can help you see opportunities you might otherwise overlook. Remember, you are not meant to walk this journey alone. Chosen ones, the urgency is clear. Viewing obstacles as barriers can lead to despair and stagnation, while embracing them as opportunities propels you forward. Your destiny requires faith, resilience, and the willingness to see beyond appearances. The next time you encounter an obstacle, pause and ask, "What is God revealing to me in this moment?" The next chapter will explore the void, a sacred place of renewal where silence and stillness prepare you for your greatest breakthroughs. Stay with me. Profound revelations await. Have you ever found yourself in a place where everything feels still, silent, and uncertain? This space, often called the void, is not a punishment or an abandonment by the divine. It is a sacred pause, a place of deep renewal and preparation. While it may feel disorienting, the void is where your spirit is recalibrated for the next phase of your destiny. In the void, you may feel as though nothing is moving forward. Prayers may seem unanswered, opportunities may seem to vanish, and clarity may feel out of reach. Yet, it is in this very stillness that profound transformation occurs. Consider Genesis 1:2, where the earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the surface of the deep. It was from this very void that God spoke creation into existence. The void is not emptiness, it is potential. The purpose of the void is twofold: to strip away what no longer serves you and to prepare you for what is to come. In this sacred space, you are invited to let go of attachments, old habits, and limiting beliefs. It is a time of surrender where you release control and allow the divine to shape you into who you are meant to become. But navigating the void requires trust. Trust that even in the silence, God is working. Trust that the stillness is not wasted, but is part of the divine plan. As Isaiah 30:15 reminds us, "In repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength." The void is a place of quiet strength, where your faith is fortified. To embrace the void, begin by releasing the need for constant action. Society often teaches us that productivity defines our worth, but the void calls you to rest in being rather than doing. Take this time to connect deeply with your inner self and the divine. Practices like meditation, prayer, and journaling can help you anchor yourself in this sacred pause. Journaling, in particular, can uncover insights hidden beneath the surface. Write about your fears, your hopes, and the lessons you sense are unfolding. Ask yourself, what am I being called to release? What am I being prepared for? The answers may not come immediately, but the act of inquiry itself opens the door for divine guidance. In the void, patience is essential. Transformation is not instant. It is a process. Think of a seed buried in the soil. For a time, it appears as though nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, roots are forming and life is beginning to stir. Your time in the void is similar. While it may seem like nothing is changing, profound shifts are occurring within you. Another key to navigating the void is gratitude. Thank the divine not only for the blessings you can see, but for the unseen work happening behind the scenes. Gratitude shifts your perspective from one of lack to one of trust and abundance. As Meister Eckhart famously said, "If the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough." Chosen ones, the void is not a place of despair, it is a place of hope. It is the womb where new life is nurtured, the cocoon where transformation unfolds. Will you embrace this sacred pause and trust in its purpose? The next chapter will guide you into understanding soul contracts and karmic lessons, deepening your awareness of the agreements that shape your journey. Stay with me. Your soul's wisdom is waiting to be unlocked. Chosen ones, your life is not a random series of events. but a carefully woven tapestry of divine agreements and spiritual lessons. These soul contracts and karmic lessons are preordained agreements made by your soul before entering this earthly realm. They are the blueprint for your growth, shaping your experiences, relationships, and challenges. Every joy and every hardship serves a purpose, guiding you toward the fulfillment of your divine destiny. Soul contracts are sacred agreements between your soul and others, designed to facilitate mutual growth and healing. These connections often shape the most impactful relationships in your life, whether through love, friendship, or adversity. Have you ever met someone and felt an instant bond or an unexplainable tension? These moments are rarely coincidental. They are the manifestation of spiritual agreements made before you incarnated. As the ancient Hindu scripture Bhagavad Gita teaches, the soul is neither born and it never dies. It existed before time and will continue beyond it. Karmic lessons, meanwhile, are the spiritual balancing acts of cause and effect. They stem from the universal law that energy flows and cycles back to its source. The Bible echoes this in Galatians 6:7. Do not be deceived, God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. These lessons show up as recurring themes in your life, urging you to evolve beyond old patterns. For example, a series of failed relationships may be a call to heal wounds of self-worth, while financial struggles might challenge you to release scarcity mindsets and embrace abundance. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward liberation. Have you ever wondered why you seem to attract similar situations or people? Why some lessons seem to follow you no matter where you go? These are the whispers of karmic energy urging you to pay attention. Begin by journaling about the recurring themes in your life. Write freely about what challenges you most and notice the emotions they stir. Over time, these reflections will reveal the threads of your soul contracts and karmic lessons. Prayer and meditation are essential tools for deeper understanding. In stillness, ask the divine to reveal the purpose behind your experiences. Sometimes, clarity comes in dreams, symbolic messages, or sudden realizations during quiet moments. Trust that these insights are not random, but are divinely orchestrated responses to your questions. One of the most profound ways to engage with soul contracts is through the practice of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not only for others, but for yourself. It is a spiritual release that unbinds you from past hurts and karmic cycles. Jesus emphasized this truth in Matthew 6:14-15. For if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others their sins, your Father will not forgive your sins. Holding on to resentment or guilt ties you to the very pain you seek to escape. Forgiveness is the key to freedom. But what about the soul contracts that feel overwhelming? The toxic relationships, the betrayals, the losses? Understand that these challenges are not punishments, but opportunities for ascension. Consider the story of Job, who faced unimaginable trials yet remained faithful. His suffering was not in vain. It was a preparation for greater blessings and a deeper understanding of God's grace. Likewise, your hardest lessons often lead to your greatest breakthroughs. Karmic lessons often demand action. It's not enough to understand them intellectually. You must actively participate in your growth. If a pattern of self-doubt holds you back, take small, courageous steps towards self-belief. If fear of failure paralyzes you, lean into faith and take the leap. Each act of bravery, no matter how small, rewrites the karmic script. Community is another vital aspect of navigating soul contracts. Surround yourself with those who uplift and challenge you to grow. Seek spiritual mentors, join supportive communities, and learn from others who have walked similar paths. These connections often serve as mirrors, reflecting truths you might struggle to see alone. The urgency here, chosen ones, is to engage with these lessons now. Ignoring soul contracts or resisting karmic growth only delays your journey. As the poet Rumi wrote, "Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one to come?" Embracing these lessons with courage and faith accelerates your spiritual evolution. Finally, remember that these lessons and contracts are temporary. They are tools for growth, not eternal burdens. Trust that as you progress, the weight of your challenges will lighten, replaced by the joy of alignment with your higher self. Each time you overcome a karmic cycle or honor a soul contract, you move closer to embodying your divine purpose. Chosen ones, your soul contracts and karmic lessons are sacred gifts. They are the stepping stones to your ultimate destiny, helping you unlock the fullness of your potential. Will you embrace them with gratitude and courage? The next chapter will delve into the importance of detachment and how letting go can lead to profound freedom and alignment. Stay with me. Your spiritual awakening is accelerating. One of the greatest spiritual truths is that freedom lies not in what you hold on to, but in what you are willing to let go. Detachment is not about apathy or indifference. It is about releasing the need to control outcomes, relationships, and circumstances. It is the ultimate act of trust in the divine, allowing the universe to work through you without resistance. Detachment often feels counterintuitive in a world that equates attachment with love, success, and stability. Society tells you to cling tightly to your goals, your possessions, and even your identity. Yet, clinging creates fear of loss, failure, and rejection. As Buddha taught, attachment is the root of suffering. When you release attachment, you open yourself to peace, clarity, and divine alignment. Consider the story of Abraham in Genesis 22, where God asked him to sacrifice his son, Isaac. This test was not about cruelty, but about detachment. God wanted Abraham to trust fully, to release his attachment to the outcome, and to surrender to divine will. At the moment of surrender, God provided a ram as a substitute, sparing Isaac. This story reminds us that true faith often requires letting go of what we value most, trusting that the divine has a greater plan. Detachment begins with awareness. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to so tightly that it's causing me pain? Perhaps it's a relationship, a career, or even a dream. While these things may be good, attachment turns them into idols, distorting their place in your life. When you attach your worth or happiness to external things, you give away your power. One of the most challenging attachments to release is the need for control. Control gives the illusion of safety, but it often leads to frustration and spiritual stagnation. Detachment invites you to replace control with trust, surrendering your plans to God's will. As Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." Practicing detachment requires intentionality. Begin by identifying areas where attachment is creating tension. Are you clinging to a specific outcome, fearing that without it you'll fail? Are you holding on to a relationship that no longer serves your growth? Detachment does not mean abandoning your goals or relationships, but approaching them with openness and faith. It's about saying, "I trust that what is meant for me will never miss me." Meditation and prayer are powerful tools for cultivating detachment. During meditation, visualize yourself releasing your attachments, handing them over to the divine. Imagine the burdens lifting from your shoulders, replaced by a sense of peace and freedom. Prayer invites God to guide you in this process, helping you trust His timing and provision. Another practice is gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, easing the grip of attachment. When you are grateful for the present moment, you release the need to control the future. As Meister Eckhart said, "If the only prayer you ever say in your life is thank you, it will be enough." But detachment is not just about letting go of things. It's also about releasing your attachment to identities and roles. You are not your job, your status, or even your achievements. These are temporary aspects of your earthly journey, not your true essence. Your identity is rooted in your divine nature, unchanging and eternal. Recognizing this truth frees you from the fear of failure and the pressure to perform. Detachment also brings clarity. When you release attachment, you create space for divine guidance. Think of a cluttered room. You cannot see its potential until you clear away the excess. Similarly, letting go of attachments clears the spiritual clutter, allowing you to discern what truly aligns with your soul's purpose. Chosen ones, the urgency here cannot be overstated. Holding on to attachments weighs you down, keeping you from soaring toward your destiny. Detachment, on the other hand, lifts you into a state of trust and flow. It allows you to move with the divine current rather than struggling against it. Will you release your grip and trust in the greater plan? Will you surrender your need for control and open yourself to divine possibilities? The next chapter will delve into the power of radical surrender, guiding you to embrace life's uncertainties with faith and courage. Stay with me. Profound transformation awaits. Surrender is one of the most profound acts of faith. It is not giving up, but giving over, releasing your will to the higher wisdom of God and the universe. Radical surrender asks you to let go of the need to understand, control, or predict, and instead to trust deeply in the divine plan. It is the gateway to peace, transformation, and alignment with your highest purpose. Surrender can feel terrifying. The ego thrives on control and certainty, convincing you that letting go equates to weakness or failure. Yet, surrender is one of the greatest spiritual strengths. It requires courage to release your grip and faith to step into the unknown. As Jesus said in Matthew 11:28-30, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." Radical surrender begins with acknowledging your limitations. No matter how intelligent, skilled, or determined you are, there are forces beyond your control. Life's twists and turns often defy logic, leaving you feeling powerless. This is not a sign of defeat, but an invitation to surrender. When you let go, you create space for divine intervention. You allow God to move in ways that exceed your imagination. But how do you surrender when everything feels uncertain? Start with prayer. Speak openly and honestly with God about your fears, desires, and doubts. Then, release those burdens into His hands. Trust that He knows what you need, even when you cannot see the path ahead. As Proverbs 16:9 reminds us, "In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." Meditation is another powerful practice for cultivating surrender. In moments of stillness, visualize yourself releasing your burdens. Imagine placing your fears, anxieties, and plans into God's hands. Feel the weight lifting from your spirit, replaced by a sense of peace. This simple act of visualization can shift your energy from resistance to trust. Radical surrender also requires embracing uncertainty. The unknown is not your enemy. it is a space of infinite possibility. Consider the story of the Israelites crossing the Red Sea. Faced with an impassable obstacle and an approaching army, they were called to trust in a miracle they could not foresee. When they surrendered their fear and moved forward in faith, the waters parted, revealing a path to safety. Surrendering does not mean passivity. It means aligning your actions with divine guidance rather than forcing outcomes. For example, if you're seeking a breakthrough in your career, surrendering doesn't mean sitting idle. It means taking inspired steps while trusting that the right opportunities will unfold in divine timing. One of the most challenging aspects of surrender is letting go of attachment to specific outcomes. The ego often clings to rigid expectations, believing that only one path will lead to happiness or success. But the divine operates beyond your limited perspective, weaving a tapestry of possibilities you cannot yet comprehend. When you release your attachment to how things should unfold, you open yourself to miracles. Gratitude plays a significant role in surrender. By thanking God for the blessings you have and the ones yet to come, you affirm your trust in His plan. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, dissolving fear and resistance. As Meister Eckhart said, if the only prayer you ever say in your life is thank you, it will be enough. Chosen ones, the urgency here is clear. Resistance delays your growth, while surrender accelerates it. The act of letting go does not weaken you. It strengthens your connection to the divine. Radical surrender aligns you with a flow of grace that carries you toward your destiny. Will you release the need to control and trust the divine to lead you? Will you surrender your plans for a greater purpose? The next chapter will explore the art of perseverance and how unwavering faith can transform even the greatest challenges into triumphs. Stay with me. Your journey is unfolding perfectly. Perseverance is a divine skill, forged in the fires of adversity and strengthened by unwavering faith. It is the ability to stand firm in the face of challenges, to keep moving forward when the path feels impossible, and to trust in God's promises even when they seem far away. Perseverance is not just a test of endurance, it is a declaration of faith that your calling is worth every step, no matter how difficult. Throughout history, the greatest spiritual breakthroughs have been born from perseverance. Consider the story of Moses leading the Israelites to the Promised Land. For 40 years, they wandered through the wilderness, facing hunger, doubt, and despair. Yet Moses persisted, guided by faith and trust in God's covenant. As Galatians 6:9 reminds us, "Let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap, if we do not give up." Perseverance begins with purpose. When you are deeply connected to your why, the divine reason for your journey, you can endure anyhow. Reflect on your purpose as a chosen one. What has God called you to do? Who are you meant to serve? When your purpose is clear, it becomes the fuel that keeps you going through the storms of life. But perseverance is not about ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It is about confronting challenges with honesty and faith. Acknowledge your struggles, but do not let them define you. Prayer is your anchor in these moments. Speak to God about your fears, frustrations, and doubts. Ask for strength and trust that He hears you. As Isaiah 40:31 promises, "Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." One of the most powerful tools for perseverance is perspective. Challenges often feel overwhelming because they dominate your focus. But when you step back and view them through the lens of faith, they become stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. For instance, a financial setback might seem insurmountable in the moment, but it could be preparing you for greater abundance by teaching discipline and trust. Reframe your challenges as opportunities for growth. Community also plays a vital role in perseverance. Surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you. Their faith and support can strengthen you when your own resolve wavers. Remember, even Jesus leaned on his disciples during his most trying moments in the Garden of Gethsemane. You are not meant to walk this journey alone. Practical actions can also sustain your perseverance. Break your journey into smaller steps. Instead of focusing on the enormity of your calling, ask yourself, what can I do today to move closer to my goal? Each small victory builds momentum, reminding you that progress is possible. Rest is another essential component. Perseverance does not mean burning yourself out. It means pacing yourself for the long haul. Sacred rest, as discussed earlier, renews your strength and keeps your spirit aligned with God's plan. Think of it as refueling for the next leg of your journey. But what about the moments when you feel like giving up? Remember, chosen ones, that the greatest breakthroughs often come just after the darkest nights. Consider the story of the widow in Luke 18, who persistently sought justice from the judge. Her unwavering determination moved the judge to grant her request. Jesus used this parable to teach the power of persistent faith. Will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones who cry out to him day and night? The urgency here is clear. Perseverance is not just about enduring trials. It is about staying aligned with your divine purpose despite them. The enemy will try to discourage you, whispering lies of unworthiness and defeat. But your persistence is a testament to your faith, a declaration that you trust God's promises more than the obstacles before you. Chosen ones, will you press on when the path feels steep? Will you trust that every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to your calling? The next chapter will explore the role of divine timing, helping you understand why patience is essential to fulfilling your destiny. Stay with me. Your breakthrough is near. Chosen ones, one of the hardest lessons on the spiritual path is learning to trust in divine timing. In a world driven by instant gratification, waiting can feel unbearable. Yet, the timing of your life is not random. It is meticulously orchestrated by the divine, ensuring that every event, encounter, and opportunity unfolds precisely when it is meant to. Divine timing is about alignment, not delay. It ensures that you are spiritually, emotionally, and physically ready to step into the next chapter of your destiny. Consider the words of Ecclesiastes 3:1. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. This truth reminds us that waiting is not a punishment, but a preparation. Have you ever looked back on your life and realized that a closed door was actually a blessing? Perhaps you didn't get the job you wanted, only to find a better opportunity later. Or a relationship ended, clearing space for a deeper connection with someone who truly aligned with your soul. These moments are evidence of divine timing at work, weaving a tapestry far more intricate than you could imagine. But trusting divine timing requires patience and faith. It is easy to become discouraged when you feel stuck, as though nothing is moving forward. In these moments, remember that waiting is an active process. It is a time to prepare, to grow, and to deepen your relationship with God. Waiting is not idle. It is sacred. Prayer is your anchor during seasons of waiting. Speak to God about your hopes, fears, and frustrations. Ask for patience and trust in His plan. Philippians 4:6-7 offers reassurance. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Let this peace carry you through the waiting. Another key to trusting divine timing is gratitude. Instead of focusing on what hasn't happened yet, thank God for what is already unfolding. Gratitude shifts your perspective, helping you see the beauty in the present moment. As you cultivate a grateful heart, you align yourself with the flow of divine timing. Recognizing the signs of divine timing can also ease your uncertainty. Pay attention to synchronicities, intuitive nudges, and the unfolding of events around you. These are breadcrumbs left by the divine, guiding you toward your destiny. For example, a chance encounter might connect you with someone pivotal to your journey, or an unexpected delay might protect you from harm. But what about when the waiting feels endless? Remember, chosen ones, that the delay is not denial. God's timing is often slower than our own desires, but always perfect in its execution. Think of the story of Lazarus in John 11. Jesus delayed going to Lazarus, allowing him to die. To those around him, it seemed like he was too late. Yet Jesus used this moment to reveal his power and glory by raising Lazarus from the dead. The delay was not a failure, it was a setup for a greater miracle. While you wait, use this time to prepare. Waiting is not a passive state. It is a time to sharpen your skills, deepen your faith, and align your spirit with your purpose. If you are waiting for a career breakthrough, invest in learning and growth. If you are waiting for a relationship, focus on healing and self-love. The preparation you do now will ensure you are ready when the opportunity comes. Finally, release your attachment to specific outcomes. Divine timing often brings blessings in forms you do not expect. Be open to the unexpected, trusting that the divine knows what is best for you. As Isaiah 55:8-9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Chosen ones, the urgency here is to embrace the waiting, to trust that the delays you face are not obstacles, but divine pauses. Will you lean into patience and faith, trusting that God's plan is unfolding perfectly? The next chapter will delve into the power of divine intervention, exploring how miracles manifest when you least expect them. Stay with me, the miraculous is on its way. Have you ever experienced a moment where an impossible situation suddenly shifted in your favor? These moments are not coincidences, they are divine interventions. They are the unmistakable fingerprints of God moving in your life, reminding you that the impossible is possible when the divine is involved. Divine intervention is a direct act of grace, breaking through the natural order to accomplish what could not be achieved through human effort alone. It is the sudden provision when all seems lost, the healing when hope is gone, or the breakthrough when the path is blocked. Consider the parting of the Red Sea in Exodus 14. Trapped between Pharaoh's army and the waters, the Israelites faced certain defeat. But God intervened, making a way where there was none. This is the power of divine intervention, to make the miraculous a reality. But how does divine intervention manifest in your life? Often, it comes when you have exhausted all human efforts and surrendered the outcome to God. As Psalm 46:10 reminds us, "Be still and know that I am God." It is in this stillness, this surrender, that you create space for the divine to work. Intervention requires faith, not in your ability to solve the problem, but in God's power to transform it. Divine intervention can take many forms. It might come as a sudden opportunity, an unexpected connection, or a solution that appears out of nowhere. Sometimes it arrives through people, those who step in to help at just the right moment. At other times, it manifests as inner strength and clarity, enabling you to face challenges with courage and wisdom. Prayer is a powerful catalyst for divine intervention. When you pray with faith, you invite God into your circumstances. But remember, prayer is not about convincing God to act. It is about aligning yourself with His will. As Jesus taught in Matthew 21:22, if you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer. Approach your prayers with confidence, trusting that the divine is already at work. Gratitude is another key to unlocking divine intervention. By thanking God for the blessings you have and the ones yet to come, you shift your energy from lack to abundance. Gratitude is a declaration of trust, a way of saying, I know you are working even if I cannot yet see it. This trust creates a fertile ground for miracles to unfold. Sometimes, divine intervention requires action on your part. In the story of the widow at Zarephath, 1 Kings 17, God provided a miracle of unending oil and flour, but it required the widow to act in faith by sharing what little she had with the prophet Elijah. Similarly, when you step out in faith, whether by pursuing a calling, helping someone in need, or simply taking a leap, you create a pathway for divine intervention to flow. But what about the times when it feels like intervention hasn't come? Remember, chosen ones, that God's timing and ways are higher than ours. What appears as silence or delay is often preparation. Trust that the divine sees the full picture, working behind the scenes in ways you cannot yet comprehend. To recognize divine intervention, you must cultivate awareness. Pay attention to the synchronicities, coincidences, and unexpected blessings in your life. Reflect on past moments where the impossible became possible. These are reminders that the divine has always been with you, guiding and providing. Chosen ones, the urgency here is to open your heart to the possibility of miracles. Divine intervention is not reserved for the extraordinary. It is woven into the fabric of everyday life. Will you trust that God is working on your behalf even now? Will you embrace the miraculous, knowing that you are never alone? The next chapter will explore how your faith can serve as a beacon, not only for yourself, but for those around you. Stay with me. The light of your journey shines brighter with every step. Your faith is not only a personal anchor, it is a light that shines for others to see. In a world filled with uncertainty, your unwavering trust in the divine becomes a beacon of hope and inspiration for those around you. Your journey, with all its struggles and triumphs, has the power to illuminate the paths of others and guide them toward their own spiritual awakening. Faith is contagious. When others witness your courage, resilience, and trust in God's plan, they are reminded of their own inner strength. Your faith becomes a living testament to the power of the divine, showing others what is possible when they too choose to believe. As Matthew 5:16 teaches, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." But how do you embody faith in a way that inspires others? It begins with authenticity. People are drawn to realness, not perfection, but the honest expression of your journey. Share your struggles as well as your victories. Let others see how you navigate challenges with faith, even when the outcome is uncertain. Vulnerability does not diminish your light. It strengthens it. Consider the impact of spiritual leaders and prophets throughout history. Their faith in God was not just for their own benefit, but to uplift and guide entire communities. Moses, despite his doubts and fears, led the Israelites out of bondage because he trusted in God's promises. Jesus, through his unwavering faith, offered salvation to all. These examples remind us that faith is not a solitary act. It is a ripple that touches countless lives. Your faith can also manifest through acts of kindness and service. When you help others, you become a vessel of divine love. Simple gestures, listening to someone in need, offering encouragement, or extending a helping hand can have a profound impact. These acts are not just expressions of faith, they are demonstrations of God's presence in the world. Prayer is another way to use your faith as a beacon. When you pray for others, you intercede on their behalf, inviting the divine to work in their lives. Never underestimate the power of a heartfelt prayer. As James 5:16 reminds us, the prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. By lifting others in prayer, you strengthen their connection to God and remind them that they are not alone. Faith as a beacon also requires humility. It is not about imposing your beliefs on others, but about living in such a way that your light naturally draws them closer to the divine. Be a reflection of God's love, grace, and wisdom. Let your actions speak louder than words, showing others the beauty of a life rooted in faith. One of the most challenging yet powerful ways to inspire others through faith is by remaining steadfast in adversity. When people see you facing trials with hope and trust, it gives them permission to do the same. Your perseverance becomes a source of strength for those who feel overwhelmed by their own struggles. As 2 Corinthians 5:7 reminds us, "For we live by faith, not by sight." Chosen ones, the urgency here is to recognize that your faith is not just for you. It is a gift to be shared. The world is filled with people searching for meaning, hope, and reassurance. By embodying faith, you become a lighthouse, guiding others toward the divine, even in the darkest of times. Will you embrace this calling? Will you let your faith shine so brightly that it ignites the hearts of those around you? The next chapter will explore how spiritual abundance flows when you align your faith with action, unlocking blessings not only for yourself, but for all who cross your path. Stay with me. Your light is changing the world. Faith alone is powerful, but when it is coupled with intentional action, it becomes unstoppable. True spiritual abundance flows not from belief alone, but from the harmonious alignment of faith and effort. This sacred union creates a channel for divine blessings to manifest in your life and ripple outward to impact others. Faith without action is like a seed never planted. It holds potential, but yields no fruit. James 2:17 speaks to this truth. Faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. Belief is the foundation, but your willingness to take steps, even small ones, activates the flow of spiritual abundance. Your efforts, guided by faith, are seeds sown into fertile ground, ready to produce a harvest beyond your imagination. Consider the story of the Israelites entering the Promised Land. God promised them victory, but they still had to march, fight battles, and claim the land. Their faith in God's promise fueled their courage to act, and their actions brought the fulfillment of the promise. Similarly, your faith requires you to step forward even when the outcome is uncertain, trusting that God will meet you on the path. But how do you align faith with action in a practical sense? It begins with clarity. Reflect on what you are believing for. Is it healing, financial provision, or a breakthrough in your purpose? Once you've identified your goal, ask yourself, what step can I take today, guided by faith, to move closer to this vision? These actions don't have to be grand. They just have to be intentional. A single step in faith can create momentum that shifts everything. Prayer and meditation are essential tools in this process. Before taking action, seek divine guidance to ensure your steps align with God's will. As Proverbs 16:3 reminds us, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." By bringing your intentions to God, you invite His wisdom into your decisions, ensuring that your actions are rooted in purpose rather than fear or impatience. Gratitude is another key to unlocking spiritual abundance. When you act from a place of gratitude, you affirm your trust in God's provision even before the blessings arrive. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, creating an energy of openness that attracts divine favor. As you act in faith, express thanks for what you have and for what is yet to come. This practice not only strengthens your faith, but also amplifies the impact of your actions. Faith-filled action also requires persistence. There will be moments when progress feels slow or obstacles arise. In these times, remember Galatians 6:9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Trust that every step you take is moving you closer to the manifestation of God's promises, even if you cannot yet see the results. One of the most powerful ways to align faith with action is through service to others. When you use your gifts to bless and uplift those around you, you create a ripple effect of abundance. Acts of kindness, generosity, and encouragement not only enrich the lives of others, but also deepen your own connection to the divine. Remember, the blessings you give freely often return to you multiplied. Chosen ones, the urgency here is to recognize that faith is not passive, it is dynamic and alive. Aligning your actions with your beliefs accelerates your spiritual growth and opens the floodgates of divine abundance. Will you take that step of faith today? Will you trust that your efforts, guided by divine wisdom, will bear fruit in due time? The next chapter will explore the sacred nature of divine purpose, revealing how every aspect of your journey is intentionally designed to fulfill your calling. Stay with me. Greater understanding awaits. Your existence is not accidental. Every aspect of your life, your experiences, gifts, challenges, and even your pain has been carefully woven together to fulfill a divine purpose. Embracing that purpose is one of the highest spiritual callings, a journey that requires faith, surrender, and courage. Your purpose is not something external to be found. It is a seed already planted within you by the divine. As Ephesians 2:10 declares, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." This purpose is uniquely yours, tailored to your soul's gifts and the role you are meant to play in the greater cosmic plan. But how do you recognize your purpose? Often, it is revealed in the areas where your passions, talents, and the needs of the world intersect. Ask yourself, what lights a fire in my soul? What gifts do I possess that can serve others? What challenges have I faced that have prepared me to uplift those walking a similar path? These questions can lead you to the heart of your divine calling. Your purpose is not always grand or dramatic. It might be raising a family with love, spreading kindness in small but meaningful ways, or using your gifts in a way that uplifts others. What matters is not the scale of your actions, but the intention behind them. Purpose is found in living authentically, aligned with the values and truths that resonate deeply within your soul. Embracing your purpose requires trust in God's plan. There will be moments when the path is unclear or when doubts creep in. You may wonder if you are truly capable of fulfilling what God has placed in your heart. In these moments, remember Jeremiah 29:11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Trust that the divine equips you with everything you need to fulfill your calling. One of the greatest barriers to embracing purpose is fear. Fear of failure, judgment, or stepping into the unknown. These fears often stem from the ego, which clings to comfort and certainty. But your purpose exists beyond the ego. It resides in the realm of the spirit, where faith transcends fear. As Marianne Williamson wrote, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure." To overcome fear, lean into faith. Begin by taking small steps toward your calling, trusting that God will guide you. With each step, your confidence will grow and the path will become clearer. Prayer and meditation are invaluable tools in this process, offering clarity and courage. Ask the divine for guidance and listen for the whispers of your soul. Community is another vital aspect of embracing your purpose. Surround yourself with those who uplift and inspire you, who see the greatness within you even when you doubt yourself. Share your journey with trusted mentors and friends who can offer wisdom and encouragement. Remember, your purpose is not just for you. It is meant to ripple outward, touching the lives of others. Embracing your purpose also means releasing comparison. Your journey is unique, and comparing it to others diminishes its sacredness. Focus on your path, trusting that the divine has designed it perfectly for you. As Galatians 6:4 reminds us, each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone without comparing themselves to someone else. Chosen ones, the urgency here is clear. Your purpose is not something to be delayed or ignored. It is your soul's mission, the reason you were chosen. The world needs your light, your gifts, and your courage. Will you step into your calling and trust that the divine will guide your steps? The next chapter will serve as a culmination of all you've learned, guiding you to live fully in alignment with your destiny and spiritual power. Stay with me. Your awakening is reaching its peak. You have come to the final step of this journey, fully stepping into the life you were destined to live. To live in alignment with your destiny means embracing your spiritual power, trusting in the divine plan, and embodying the lessons you've learned. It is the culmination of faith, perseverance, surrender, and action, allowing you to walk boldly into your purpose with unwavering confidence. Living fully in alignment begins with owning your identity as a chosen one. You are not ordinary. You are set apart for a higher calling. This truth is not about ego or superiority, but about responsibility. As 1 Peter 2:9 reminds us, "But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of Him who called you out of darkness into His wonderful light." Acknowledge this sacred identity and let it guide every decision, action, and thought. Alignment requires consistency. It is not a one-time decision, but a daily commitment to live according to your highest values and spiritual truths. Begin each day with intentionality, through prayer, meditation, or journaling, setting your heart and mind on your purpose. These practices anchor you in divine alignment, helping you navigate challenges with grace and clarity. Trust is the foundation of living in alignment. Trust that every step of your journey, even the difficult ones, has prepared you for this moment. Trust that God's plan is unfolding perfectly, even if you cannot see the full picture. As Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." Living in alignment also means using your gifts boldly. The abilities and passions God has placed within you are not meant to be hidden. They are tools for fulfilling your purpose and serving the world. Ask yourself, how can I use my gifts today to make a difference? Whether through acts of kindness, creative expression, or sharing your story, your gifts are the bridge between your destiny and the impact you are meant to have. Community remains a vital part of this journey. Surround yourself with people who reflect your values and inspire your growth. Seek mentors who can guide you, and friends who can walk alongside you. Just as iron sharpens iron, the right community strengthens your resolve and helps you stay aligned with your calling. Obstacles may still arise, but living in alignment means facing them with faith rather than fear. Remember the lessons from earlier chapters. Challenges are opportunities for growth, and every delay serves a purpose. When difficulties come, pause and reflect. Ask God, what is this teaching me? How can I use this to strengthen my alignment with your will? Gratitude is the key to sustaining alignment. By focusing on what you have and thanking God for His guidance, you remain grounded in trust and abundance. Gratitude shifts your energy from striving to receiving, opening the flow of divine blessings into your life. Make it a daily practice to express gratitude for even the smallest blessings, for they are signs of God's presence and provision. Finally, remember that alignment is not perfection. It is a journey, not a destination. There will be moments of doubt, fear, or missteps, but these do not define you. What matters is your willingness to return to your spiritual center, to recalibrate and recommit to your destiny. Living fully in alignment means embracing your humanity while striving toward your divinity. Chosen ones, the urgency here is profound. The world is waiting for you to step into your calling. Your light, your gifts, and your courage are needed now more than ever. Will you embrace your destiny with open arms? Will you trust that the divine has prepared you for this moment, equipping you with everything you need to succeed? This is your time. Your journey has led you here, to the threshold of a life lived in full alignment with your highest purpose. Step forward with faith, knowing that the divine walks with you every step of the way. The path ahead is filled with possibility, transformation, and profound joy. Go forth, chosen ones, and let your light shine for the world to see. You are ready. The time is now.